Hello!
Hello everyone.
Welcome to the Magic Origins Limited Overview.
Magic Oranges. That's
You're
what we're...
currently looking at suppression bonds.
Have you seen the... yeah, because that's just the card we had up. Have you seen the way that if you look at the set symbol, it does look a little bit, if you really squint, like the top of an orange?
Well, now that's what... if it's like an orange skin.
Yeah.
An orange
So,
peel.
Magic Oranges.
Well, that's what that's called now.
Yep.
We've ruined that forever.
So, we're doing our set review for Magic Oranges.
Our limited overview.
Sorry.
Legally distinct
It's
from
not,
the set review.
Not the set review, yeah. Dennis isn't wearing his Limited Resources t-shirt today.
Wearing a breaking
No, we're doing our limited overview. We don't go in depth on every single card. We just talk a little bit about our first impressions of the really hasty first impressions of the format. We've looked at these cards for about
20 minutes?
an hour. I looked at them before I came.
Sure.
But yeah, we're going to be talking about them a little bit, talking about kind of archetypes, things to look out for, that kind of stuff.
And sending off the last ever course set.
Yeah, it is the last ever course, possibly, maybe, probably.
Yeah, they didn't
It's
say
entirely at their discretion, but
the last course set for the foreseeable future anyway, which I'm a little sad about. I like course sets a lot.
Course sets for draft I thought were pretty cool because they're just like nice, simple, clean magic.
The exemplary magic.
Yeah, there's not usually anything gimmicky.
Yeah.
You talk about a format like Theros and it felt like, the heroic thing was overpowered or
Sure.
whatever. You don't really get that in core sets. It's just whoever plays Magic the best wins.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. The reason they said they were getting rid of core sets is they didn't really know who they were targeting with them.
That's true, because if you make them completely for new players, they're boring to seasoned drafters. And if you make them to appeal to seasoned drafters, they're too complicated for new players.
Exactly.
So it's very difficult to strike a balance between that. So the best solution when you have trouble when striking a balance between two things is to give up and never do it again.
Go home and start doing 2-set blocks. But anyway, that's what we're going to be doing. Another implication of the fact that we're now only doing 2-set blocks is we will never, as far as I don't know how they're going to structure the draft format. We'll never have set 2, set 3, set 2, set 1.
We'll never have 3 different packs in the draft.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. That's going to be interesting.
We'll see how it goes.
But
for now, we are looking at the origin of some of Magic's most beloved planeswalkers, and also
Jace.
Gideon. Hey, unfortunately,
Jace is such a prick.
Unfortunately, people like Jace quite a lot.
Jace, yeah. What's it called?
Telepath Unbound. Well, he's kind of a douchebag.
Yeah. Look at him. Have you seen the package? We can't show it here, but have you seen the packaging for
with his dumb hand?
With his hand, it doesn't look like a hand at all.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Anyway, so yeah, Jace, the hero of Magic. That's a stupid bugger.
We have Jace. We have
Gideon.
Gideon.
Yeah, I don't know what the story is with that.
He changed his name because of reasons. We have Nissa.
Yeah.
We have Chandra.
Yeah.
And we have Liliana, who's one of my favourite planeswalkers, not because of her outfit.
Liliana, Defiant Necromancer.
Look at her.
Yeah.
She's pretty sweet.
She is. By the way, fantastic flavour on Heretic Healer.
Oh, yeah.
We're going a little bit off topic. We don't tend to talk, because this is a limited overview and not a flavour overview.
That's true.
We don't tend to talk about rares too much, but the flip planeswalkers are the headline kind of thing of the set.
And the idea behind the set is to send it off. They're giving us the origin stories of some of Magic's key characters.
Exactly. By the way, quick note: if you are playing limited and you happen to get a flip-sided planeswalker, there should be a marker card in the pack along with it, which you can make a little note of which one it is and put that in your deck in a sleeve instead of
the actual
card.
Or you can put the actual card in
the sleeve. But if you're not playing with sleeves, you do need to use the marker card or some other kind of replacement.
So, Oisin,
yes,
what are the 5 colours we're going to be seeing in this set that are the same for every other set, but especially this one?
White.
Yeah.
Blue.
Yeah.
Black. Red.
I'm with you.
And oranges.
Perfect. So, will we start with white and talk about that a little bit?
It's like green. Green is the other
one.
Green,
yeah. We got it, right?
Yeah, so white... I guess we could talk about... Do you want to talk about new mechanics first? Or do you
sure.
We do mechanics. So, the first new mechanic... The only new mechanic we have... Or we have two new mechanics. One is Renown. So, cards like Citadel Castellan.
There she is.
Renown is base green-white. And you can see it there. It's Renown number. So what a creature with Renown says is, think of it similar to Monstrous. Yeah, the word being renowned doesn't actually mean much. So the creature, when it deals combat damage to a player, gets N+1/+1 encounters and becomes renowned.
So for most intents and purposes, when it deals combat damage to a player the first time, it gets that amount of counters. And for later on, the cards ask if a card is renowned. It counts. If the creature gets +1/+1 counters some other way, it's not renowned.
By the way, good designed limited format, it's quite difficult to do that in this format.
Yeah,
it's difficult to put plus encounters on your creatures without renowning them.
For that reason.
To avoid confusion. Like, you notice in Theros, sometimes you'd put a plus encounter on a monstrous creature and be like, wait, is that monstrous, or did I do that with the other one, the card that puts the counters on it? So there's not a lot of that going on. If you're playing with them in Constructed, it might be an issue. Something you could say you Abzan Charm your Citadel Castellan, it's not renowned. But basically, yeah, it's going to get bigger the first time it hits a player.
So it rewards you for attacking your opponent.
Exactly.
Which makes it an aggressive, except it doesn't do anything defensively until after you hit them. So that spurs those colours towards an aggressive strategy, which spurs kind of the whole format towards an aggressive strategy.
Not always. Like, obviously with mechanics like Dash, which is very aggressive, and Raid, it didn't make the whole format just everyone's aggressive.
Right, but I think it would have been slower if those mechanics didn't exist.
It would have been, but also, I mean, those weren't exactly so powerful.
No,
they were powerful. Okay, I think what I'm trying to say here is Renown is a mechanic that snowballs. Right. You hit someone with a Renown creature like what's it called? The 2/2. I'll find it here. But you hit someone with Citadel Castellan, for example. You hit someone with a Renown creature. Suddenly that's a 4/5. Like, that's huge.
And the problem is, if you're hitting your opponent and they're not defending themselves, it means you're ahead, and this makes you even further ahead. And that's what you mean by snowballing.
Exactly. You get ahead and you stay ahead. So what it means is that even the slower decks need a way to deal with renowned creatures early on.
They need an early blocker.
So the format, just by definition, speeds up. So I do think this is going to be a quick format. The card I was thinking of, by the way, it's around here somewhere. I know it is. It's just a 2/2 with Renown. Okay, let's talk about War Oracle. War Oracle's in there. It's a 4-mana 3/3 lifelink with Renown 1. It's based in green and white. There's some payoff for cards being renowned.
Yeah.
Maybe cards like Kytheon's Tactics, I think it's called.
Yeah,
Kytheon's Tactics, yeah.
That's a spell mastery card. Disaster Rushing.
Oh, whoops, but it doesn't care about them being renowned?
Nope.
No. What's the one that cares about them being renowned?
There's one that gives them the protection. Or
makes them indestructible or something along those lines. Anyway, sorry, entirely the wrong card. There's the... Oh, God, this is a disaster. I should have written all this down. I should have definitely written all this down. There's the green one that draws you cards when it becomes renowned. Do you remember what that's called?
Nope.
Well, thank you, Dennis. Valoran Wardens.
Valoran.
Valeron. O-N.
There they are.
Valoran Wardens.
So that is a 2 and a green for a 1/3, which becomes a 3/5 if you renown it. And whenever a creature you control becomes renowned, including it, you draw a card. So that really rewards you for just turning everything sideways all the time.
It fuels your aggressive deck.
So what kind of things do we have to help us get our guys in?
Well, we have in white and green.
Got Mighty Leap.
We've got Mighty Leap as a combat trick. That's going to help you get it in. Another combat trick in white is Enshrouding Mists. So, I mean, that doesn't actually help you get it in, but it means it's going to survive if they block it.
If it's renowned, untap it.
Yeah, okay, cool. Might of the Masses in green and Titanic Growth.
There's Might of the Masses.
Yeah. So, yeah, you want to prioritize kind of combat tricks, because you want to put your opponent in a really difficult position with renowned creatures. Well, say you turn 3 your Citadel Castellan, or your, the other one.
The green one.
The green one. The Valoran Wardens. So you turn 3 your Valoran Wardens, right? When you attack on turn 4 and you have mana open, what do they do?
If they block with their 3/3, you Titanic Growth it. If they don't, it becomes a 3/5 and you draw a card.
Yeah.
So I imagine your renowned guys are going to get blocked wherever possible. Combat tricks be damned.
Yeah, which means combat tricks get a lot better. Become removal. You're going to get value out of them a lot more of the time. You do also have some removal in white. There's Swift Reckoning, Celestial Purge. Swift Reckoning, interestingly, not that good with Renown. Like, it doesn't do exactly what you want. It gets a tapped creature dead.
Yeah, so
it's more of a control-y card. But then you have things like Suppression Bonds and Celestial Flare. Celestial Flare is a reprint we've had. Suppression Bonds is just basically bad pacifism a lot of the time. And then Celestial Flare can deal with a blocker. But yeah, so you're looking for ways to keep your renowned creatures alive as they get through and smack them. We are spending a lot of time on renown. The reason for that is I think it's going to be one of the defining things about
Celestial Flare doesn't work too well with renown.
Well, no, it doesn't actually end up getting through.
It's like a combat trick.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I am spending a lot of time talking about renown. The reason for that is I think it is going to define the format quite a lot. You know, a guy with renowned creatures gets ahead, it's going to be very difficult to catch up. So the slow decks need early blockers or early removal and a lot of it. and the Renown decks are going to be really prioritizing those combat tricks. You're like Titanic Growth. If you have any number of Renown creatures, your Titanic Growths and your Mighty Leaps are going to be a lot more important.
So what's our other brand new mechanic?
Our other brand new mechanic, Dennis, is Spell Mastery.
So what's that shock that has Spell Mastery on it?
Spell Mastery, so I'll go with Fiery Impulse. Spell Mastery is a fairly simple mechanic. It is not, in fact, a keyword, so there's a difference.
Yeah.
I explain this pretty much every time.
I don't know why you need
Nobody ever cares.
Spell Mastery, the word Spell Mastery doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
It's just a reminder that if there are 2 or more instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard,
something happens.
In this case, it turns this 2 damage spell into a 3 damage spell.
Yeah, so shock into lightning bolt. It only actually hits creatures, so it's not... Anyway. Yeah. So yeah, it rewards you for playing multiple instant or sorceries.
Or for milling yourself.
Which there is a slight theme of.
We'll get to that.
In your average limited deck, Dennis, how many instant sorceries are you playing?
Tops 9, 10?
That's a lot. That means you're playing 13 creatures and
no enchantments or
whatever else.
Artifacts.
Yeah. So that's a lot of instant. But like, I'd say the average limited deck I've played runs maybe 6 or 7.
6 or 7, I'd say, is a fair number, yeah.
Which means if you're playing your Spell Mastery spell, you need to have already drawn...
And used a third of them.
40%, yeah. 30% of your spells.
Which is a lot.
Yeah, that's the equivalent of going through maybe...
Now, if you're playing a control deck that's drawing a lot of cards or looting a bunch or milling yourself or all that number gets a lot easier, much more...
So I think the important thing to note is that a lot of the Spell Mastery cards, and they've done this quite well, are fine if you don't trigger Spell Mastery and are quite good if you do. There are some exceptions, things like Send to Sleep. Send to Sleep is mostly unplayable without Spell Mastery.
Well, no, 1 in a blue top 2 creatures is not the end of the world.
It's not good.
I wouldn't main deck it, no. 1 in a blue for a Frost Breath, though, now you're talking.
That's really, really strong. So, I mean, yeah, when you're evaluating Spell Mastery cards, I would err on the side of saying I will usually not have
Importantly, the Spell Mastery, like, if you cast Send to Sleep and you only have one other one in your graveyard, that doesn't count.
That's very important to note. When you are casting a spell, it is on the stack, not the graveyard. It doesn't go to the graveyard until everything it is doing is done.
So the Spell Mastery cards do not count themselves. No. So you need 2 other than that. Exactly, yeah.
So yeah, I would, when you are looking at spell mastery cards, I would tend to think to yourself, I usually won't have spell mastery.
Ballpark, what, like, say you make some effort to build around spell mastery.
Let's say in that way I play 9 spells in my deck.
Right. What percentage of the time do you think you'll have spell mastery when you cast one? Remember, the first 2 you just won't.
I know. So I think what you want to look at here, I don't want to answer that straight off the bat, because if you're building around spell mastery, I'd say you want to be building probably a control deck. Mm-hmm. I would imagine.
Tempo deck wouldn't be the end of the world either.
Yeah, but I think there's a blue-black self-milly kind of control-y zombie type decks with things like Return Centaur.
Well, in that case, you think the red ones are just... The red spell mastery spells are just going to be random upside sometimes.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think, you want to... There's spell mastery in other colours as well. There's spell mastery, I think, in all 5 colours.
You sure?
Yeah, I mean, you got Kythian's Tactic in white.
Oh, right, yeah.
What's it called? Nissa's something in green.
Nissa's Expedition?
No, the other one.
Pilgrimage?
Could be.
Wait for the card image to load.
Yeah,
there we go. So it is in all 5 colours.
It is in all 5 colours, yeah. So, yeah, I would tend to err on the side of saying I usually won't have spell mastery. I'd say if you make some effort to build around it in your self-mill deck, you will have it maybe 40% of the time.
That's pretty high. I think
that's if you really make the effort to self-mill and play a lot of spells. I think in your average, say, blue-red tempo deck, blue-white flyers deck, you're going to have it maybe 20-30%.
But remember, like, once you've cast your second one, all the spells after that.
Exactly. There's very few reasons or ways to exile spells from your opponent's graveyard.
Except for scabs.
Even from your opponent's graveyard.
From your opponent's, sure.
Yeah. So that is spell mastery.
What do you mean your opponent's graveyard?
Like your opponents aren't going to be getting rid of your spells.
Oh right, I see. I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, you just don't play your scabs then, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
So there's a new keyword. It's not a new mechanic. It's menace. Mm-hmm. So what is a menace card, Dennis?
Hey, Dennis is the menace.
Dennis is the menace. There's a 3-mana 3/2 with menace, who I should have just written down because it's just a really simple example of a menace card, but I didn't because I'm a genius. Boggart Brute.
Boggart Brute. Oh yeah, these guys are being
Boggart
hunted.
Brute, who is not a boggart.
No, nor even necessarily a brute. Also, it's 3 guys.
Mm-hmm. So he's a 3-mana 3/2 with menace. And we've seen Menace before on cards like Madcap Skills. Menace just means it can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures.
It can be blocked by 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, or 5 or 6.
Wait, hold on. Slow down, Dennis. 2 or more creatures? Yeah.
Or 8.
Wait. So 10 works as well. Yeah, so anyway. You can't. You have to multi-block it.
Block with 11 creatures.
You cannot block it with 1 creature. You can block it with 0 creatures, which is counterintuitive.
You can if you like, technically, technically speaking.
But yeah, so it can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. So if your opponent only has 1 creature, obviously this thing's unblockable. What do you think of Menace as a card? There? Because there it is. Why did you put up Nissa?
Because I couldn't think of another card. Okay. What do I think of Menace? It's just a keyword. It's not a mechanic like in the same way.
So yeah, it's a good. I mean, what Wizards are saying is they've kind of replaced
something else got
Intimidate with it.
Something else got keyworded.
Evergreen. Well, it's already been keyworded. Yeah, it's evergreen. Scry is now evergreen. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be seeing Scry just kind of tacked onto random cards like we did in Theros block, and I hate it.
You hate Scry?
I think Scry is brilliant. I just think when they kind of go, you know what Lightning Bolt needs? 3 more mana. So
what's that card called? Bolt of what?
That is called Lightning Javelin. So you know what Lightning Bolt needed? It needed to cost 3 more. But you know what? Scry 1. Scry 1 is great.
Remember this?
Bolt of Keranos. Yeah, it's the same card. Why did they not make Lightning Javelin an instant?
Why didn't they print Bolt of Keranos? Gideon's in the set. Gideon's from Theros. There's cards with Theros themes in the set. Scry for the Scryfish made it in. This makes way more sense.
I know.
Although maybe they didn't want to introduce actual gods' names. Maybe that's a little confusing.
I suppose. Also, no, Titan of Erebos is in the format. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, okay, never mind.
And Farika's just something.
Oh, Titan of Erebos isn't here.
Farika's Disciple, is that what it's called? No.
Yeah. There she is, Farika's Disciple.
Yeah. So they do mention that. Anyway, little bit of flavour rant over.
A little bit of anger.
Scry is back. Scry is a fantastic mechanic. Mm-hmm. Scry is just a really nice way of making sure the game goes smoothly. It's a lovely little bit of upside on some of your cards. Sigil Starfish, which we discovered in we were looking at that in Theros block. It was just, we thought it was terrible, and then we played with it and it's like, I want 8 of these.
It's a little too good to be a common, so they bumped it up here.
Okay, so it's now an uncommon. It wasn't an uncommon before?
I think it was a common.
Maybe. But yeah, so Scry's back. So those are all our new mechanics. Not a lot of new stuff.
No, but it's a core set.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's for
2 new mechanics.
It's pretty par for the course, I think.
Yeah, I think Renown is the biggest one.
Influential.
Yeah, Renown is this format's like Exalted or Bloodlust or whatever. Bloodthirst.
So, what are the major themes of the set, Ashin? We've already discussed Renown a little bit. We've already discussed Spellmaster a little bit.
So there's 10 2-color pairs in the format.
Which is unique to this set.
No, it isn't.
I know, I was kidding.
There's actually more because oranges are in the format as well.
Okay, you gotta stop this thing.
So, yeah, there's 10 2-color pairs. I think I haven't really been paying attention to the whole flavor aspect, but I believe it's the 5 home planes of the Planeswalkers and then also the first plane they planeswalked to.
Right.
I think that's how they're doing it.
So what's that for Nissa?
So Nissa, I believe, is from
Lorwyn?
I think she's from Lorwyn and went to Zendikar. Yeah. Jace is from Vryn and went to Ravnica,
which are the same place.
Yeah. Chandra's from
Kaladesh
and went to somewhere else. Liliana's from
somewhere else
and went
to Innistrad. Yeah. So we nailed it. And Kithian's from Theros,
and he went to
Worldwide. Is it also Zendikar?
I don't remember. Anyway, point is, we have 10 2-color pairs. Wrong Gideon.
Nope. Res Eldrazi. Yep. Perfect. This is our Gideon now. So 10 2-color pairs.
10 2-color.
So we've already discussed white green. That's probably going to be pretty renowned.
White green is kind of a renown aggro deck from the looks of things. So you want to be picking your renown cards early and your combat tricks early if you want to be moving into that archetype. There's also some good removal in white. Like I said, things like suppression bonds.
Mm-hmm. What's the tapping one?
The tapping one. There's an Akroan Jailer, which is
rare.
Not a good card.
Oh, wrong card. Sorry. Yeah. The thing is here, a tapper is never terrible. A tapper that costs 3 is getting close.
Yeah. To being
activate.
Unplayable.
But it does let you get your renown guys in,
which it might make it more playable in this format.
There's also that instant that spell that destroys tap creatures.
So I suppose there's that's called Swift Reckoning. Spell Mastery makes it an instant.
Perfect.
Spell Mastery, by the way, you got to be careful about when these things are checked. So I like there's actually, you know what? Never mind. I was going to talk about how if they check on resolution, but there's no way to get rid of instance in cards.
There's no torment script or anything.
So I'm going to shut up about that.
Okay.
But yeah, once that's on the stack, it doesn't matter if your graveyard takes off. It's on the stack. So yeah, that's the green-white deck. What do you want to talk about next? What's another cool deck?
Blue-black, buddy.
Blue-black is really sweet.
Zombies.
Blue-black is zombies. Innistrad zombies. The scabs are back.
Yeah, buddy.
The scabs are back.
Got possessed scab. Wait for it. There it is. That's our poster boy for the blue-black deck.
I think I really liked what they did with the Innistrad zombies because they wanted them to be in 2 colors, and they were like, well, we can put them in blue because you've got like the black kind of shuffling Dawn of the Dead zombies, and then you've got the blue scabs, the Frankenstein zombies. So you combine those and you get like a whole zombie tribal thing. There isn't a whole amount of zombie tribal stuff going on at the
common or
uncommon level. The only good example of it I was able to find is Cruel Revival,
which is a hell of a card.
Yeah, so you liked
Reach of
Shadows. What about getting a zombie back as well? Now, important to note, it can't kill zombies.
No, but it can kill other black creatures.
Exactly.
So I think that's probably just better.
Yeah. Well, Reach of Shadows could kill black creatures, couldn't it?
Yeah, but only monocolored creatures.
Could it?
Yeah.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, right.
Was it not? That's 1 or more colors or something like that?
Oh, you're right. Maybe it is 1 or more colors. You're right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't kill your manamorphs.
Your manamorphs.
Your animorphs. But Cruel Revival is sometimes just 5-mana instance we destroy a thing, which we all loved.
You have to play that card. Like Doomblade is a thing of the past.
We loved Reach of Shadows. Sometimes this is just a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
Now their thing has to not be a zombie, and you have to already have a zombie.
So if you're building a zombie-ish deck,
you get some scabs in there. I mean, also the scabs all encourage or take advantage of self-mill. We got the Return Centaur here as well.
Yeah.
So that's going to fill up your bin. So you're more likely to have hit another zombie to have in your bin. So I don't think it's so much a zombie deck as it is more of a self-mill deck, which happens to be themed around zombies.
Yeah, and you'd have a spell mastery kind of like there's the spell mastery kill spell as well called Unholy Hunger.
Again, there it is. Again, self-mill fuels your spell mastery as well. I'm most excited about this deck. I'm not saying I think that's the best deck.
You just love zombies.
I love zombies. Zombies are my favorite tribe. I love blue-black control. I love self-mill. It's all beautiful. It's all there. Little incrementy chunks of tiny value.
Yeah. Blue is quite weak.
You think so?
I think
you're Thomas the Doubter, but that's
black is quite strong.
Sure.
So you'll get the value. There's things like Fleshbag Marauder, which is a zombie that you can recur.
That puts zombies in your graveyard.
That also kills their things.
You know what is missing in this set that shouldn't be?
What?
Wait for it. Ghoul Razor.
I suppose.
We already go into Innistrad.
Yeah.
Zombies are a theme.
Yeah.
Self-mill's a theme.
Why don't we have Ghoul Razor? Because...
Or even Gravedigger.
I'd take Gravedigger. Gravedigger's been in core sets before.
He's been in millions of sets. Why is not... I prefer Ghoul Razor because he's more flavorful.
Yeah.
I think he should be in the set. I call bull poop on that one.
Bull poop.
But maybe that's just me.
So yeah, we've got like Fleshbag Marauder. We've got... you got getting a lot of grindy kind of advantage out of it. Breathe the Bones is back.
Great card.
There's some not great draw in blue, interestingly.
What's the new divination called?
Oh, it's not divination. It's I have to find it, but don't. Yeah, Read the Bones is kind of the best draw spell in the format.
It's an insane draw spell. It's very, very, very powerful.
Blue does get some counter spells.
Quite a few.
Some bad ones, really.
Well, it's got Negate.
Negate is almost never main deckable.
No.
You've got a worse cancel.
I don't know about that.
I think it's just definitely worse.
I think it's
you've got a worse Syncopate in Clash of Wills.
What's the worst cancel or the worst mana leak called?
The worst mana leak / cancel is called... I'll find it for you here. I was going to look for the draw spell. Psychic Rebuttal.
I like that card. You're thinking of a different card. I'm thinking of the card that's 2 in a blue. Counter target spell unless its controller plays 3. And then if you have Spell Mastery, you scratch.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at entirely the wrong card. I haven't seen that card yet. That's kind of cool.
What's it called?
Psychic Rebuttal.
Oh, yeah.
Psychic Rebuttal. I haven't seen that card. I don't like it limited.
The spells that target you are very rare and limited.
Yeah. No, the card you were thinking of is... It's a common, isn't it?
I think so. This is an above average amount of counter spells, by the way.
There are lots of counter... No, it's not a common. Where is this thing gone? We really should have had all this written down, Dennis. Calculated Dismissal. It is a common.
There it is. I like this card. You don't.
I don't like it. I don't play cancel in limited, and I don't know why I'd play conditional cancel.
It's not conditional cancel. Counter targets when this controller plays 3 is cancelled like 90% of the time. I'm aware that's what conditional means, but you know what I mean. The conditional part of this is the Scry 2, which is no joke. The difference between Divination and Read the Bones is Scry 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you pay 2 extra life for the Read the Bones, and you love it. You're like, yeah, take it.
Read the Bones is absolutely fine.
I'm sold. I like Calculated Dismissal. I think that if you can build a sort of black-blue real control deck with your Scab Goliath or whatever to mop them up at the end.
Yeah, Scab Goliath is an excellent card, by the way.
Sweet card. 3 heads are better than 1.
You also have Bone to Ash in this format, which we were chatting about earlier, and we can't decide if it's good.
I think it's good.
Did you play Contradict?
No, not always, but I could.
I just think, more conditional. I mean, it's basically Cryptic Command, right? Bone to Ash, basically Cryptic Command.
Well, it's for limited. It's basically Dismiss. To be honest.
Yeah.
Which won't load. There it is.
Which is fine.
Dismiss is a great card.
Yeah. But the card I was thinking of, the Draw spell, the one that cares about artifacts, which isn't really a thing in the black-blue deck.
No, it's more of a blue-red thing, maybe.
Yeah, is... I'll find it, I swear. It's an instant that draws cards. You guys must be shouting this at the screen. You've probably all been following the spoilers and know the names. We just haven't.
No, sir.
We're Artificer's Epiphany.
There it is.
But yeah, it's a 3-mana instant. Draws 2 cards, and if you don't control an artifact, you discard a card.
Yes. There's another one.
Is there?
Where you discard...
That's a red card. Discard a land, draw 2? Is that the one you're thinking of?
Maybe. Anyway, I thought there was a Spellmaster one, but anyway.
Okay, well anyway. So blue is not doing its normal draw lots of cards things. I mean, you've got Towergeist, which is card advantage-y. Very, very good card, by the way. Towergeist. Absolutely excellent. But yeah, that's blue-black. What's next? What do you want to do next? We've done
Blue-white Tempo.
Blue-white Tempo. I love this deck. The Flyers deck.
So what's
in
the name
every format in all of Magic? There is a blue-white Flyers deck.
No matter what
I love it so much because it just means I can sit down. It's like I don't know what any of the cards are in this set. Oh, that's blue. That's white. That flies. I'm in.
So what's our poster boy for blue-white?
Thunderclap Wyvern.
Man, these names are bad. Thunderclap Wyvern, right there, is pretty much all we're about. We're doing things on our opponent's turn. We're flying. We're making other flyers bigger. Or do we make them bigger? We're making ornithopters bigger. Not ornithopters, just thopters. Thopters in general. Or your, what's that drake called? Scab Drake?
Yeah.
What's that card called?
It's called Scrapskin Drake.
Scrapskin Drake. Now that's a 3/4 flyer.
Yep, absolutely excellent. So there's a lot of decent flyers.
We already talked about the removal and tempo plays.
Yeah, so there's things like we talked about Send to Sleep, but you've also got things like Anchor to Ether
and Claustrophobia.
Claustrophobia is an absolutely
amazing
insane
card.
Spell. Celestial Flare, which we already talked about.
Anchor to Ether is an excellent tempo spell. Gets a blocker out of the way, denies them a draw step, and fixes your next draw step.
It's absolutely fantastic for only 3 mana as well. Disperse is also in the format. Disperse, I feel like isn't. Yeah, Time Ebb is
the old version
also there. Disperse, I don't know if it's that good in this format because auras aren't going to be that heavily played. We don't think
it's just going to be Unsummon.
Yeah, and Unsummon's never terribly exciting,
but it's never bad. No. I like an Unsummon quite a lot.
Sure,
if that's the kind of deck you're going for. I think the Disperse is going to have more of a home in blue-green.
Blue-green, which is another version of the deck. The important thing about the blue-white tempo deck in this format is you get the white Renown guys, which means your Send to Sleeps and your Disperses and your Anchor to Ethers are absolutely fantastic. What are you looking for?
Well, Kithian's Tactics is very good if you have some more Thopter tokens.
Sure. You can make Thopter tokens in this format as well, but yeah, you get the white Renown guys like Dennis, help me out here. White Renown guys.
I don't know.
Come on. What are we doing here?
I'm looking at Thopter Spy Network.
What does Thopter Spy Network do?
Dude, at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control an artifact, you get a Thopter.
I like it. And then you have another Thopter.
Whenever one or more artifact creatures you control deal damage to a player, draw a card.
So you have to have an artifact to get it going.
But your first Thopter ensures you...
Topen Freeblade was the card I was trying to find earlier. The stupid 2/2 Vigilance Renown one.
That's awful art.
But it's an absolutely fantastic
What
card.
is going? It really hurts to look at.
It's just an upside bear.
Yeah, that's like if I'm like, hey Oisin, there's a card in the set and it's 1 white for 2/2. You're like, okay, and it's got vigilance. You're like, oh, all right, whatever. And it's like it's got renown one. You're like, that's a lot of things.
This is just a lot of good stuff.
A lot of piled up stuff.
Yeah. And then vigilance and renown is quite good because if you trigger renown, you then immediately have a 3/3 blocker, which will probably block their 2-drop quite nicely. By the way, be on the play. If you have the option, if you win the die roll, don't get cute. Go on the play.
Even if you don't have renown guys, they might.
Get on the play. Block their guys. Always be on the play. It's like...
Always be playing.
Exactly.
That's a quote from a movie, but I didn't like JFK.
Yeah, it was really weird.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, blue-green is the other kind of version of the tempo deck, which does a lot of similar stuff, except instead of getting renown guys and flyers through...
Well, some renown guys too.
Yeah, you're tapping things down to get massive green creatures through.
Do you remember the name of our giant big guy?
Well, you talking about the rare one?
Yeah, just for...
Oh, just for fun.
Yeah.
You mean, where is he? He is huge. He is just massive. Outland Colossus.
Go with me on a journey, Oisin.
Yeah, okay.
I want you to imagine a card that costs 3 green, and is a 6/6.
I'd play that card.
Great.
I'd play the hell out of that card.
Oisin,
Yeah.
this card has renown 6.
So it becomes a 12 if you hit them with it.
But listen, it doesn't have trample. Alright, so
Okay.
they're just going to chuck all their guys in front of it.
Sure, yeah.
Except, can't we block them more than one creature?
It's just so
The
huge.
Abyss. It's the Abyss.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
your opponent sacrifice a creature every turn, or they lose the game, pack up
Because
their
you
cards,
have a
cry, and
12
go home.
Yeah. It's just a massive card. And then if you are playing things like Send to Sleep, Disperse, Claustrophobia, alongside that...
Or any just kind of big green cards at all.
Yeah. There's things like there's the Trampling Renown guy.
What's his name?
Rock Smaulers. RHOX.
Magic's so stupid sometimes. There we go. The Rhinos.
So it's a similar version of the deck, except instead of getting flyers and evasive creatures and things like that through,
You're getting beef.
Massive chunks of damage
Just
in the turns
raw
you're able to tap
premium
things down.
minced beef through.
Exactly. So that's the blue-green deck. Their kind of multicolored iconic card is Bounding Crisis.
Bounding Graces.
Which is a 3-mana 3/3 flash that taps things and taps things and...
Which is exactly like we said. It's getting a thing in. It's a 3-mana 3/3 is no joke in terms of power either.
3-mana 3/3 flash is pretty strong. You can do... we've seen cards like this before. There's some potential for blowouts where you attack them with your big thing. Let's say I attack them with my 4/4 and they take it. And then they swing back with their 2/2 and their 3/3.
Right.
And you go Bounding Graces, untap my 4/4, block both your guys, you lose.
And also tap the guy you're going to block with.
Well, no.
Oh, no, you don't tap one thing.
Yeah. But yeah, just... You be very careful if they have 1 green blue open and a creature that could kill your creature tapped.
Or a 3/3 that would...
Or a 3/3 would be bad. Yeah. So, because Bounding Crisis is a reason to play the blue-green deck.
So as you shift away from this, I think the themes start to get a little less defined in our last couple pairs, don't they?
Well, I mean, the tempo theme is just something that's always been there. No, I think there are some very well-defined themes in things like...
black-green, I guess.
Black-green is just the elves deck.
So what's the name of our elf lady?
The elf lord... Well, the elf lady, the kind of the uncommon payoff for playing elves is Shaman of the Pack.
Each of these colour pairs has an uncommon payoff, essentially.
Yeah, an uncommon kind of theme card.
I don't think this one's enough.
Elves.
I don't think Shaman of the Pack specifically. Now, I want
okay, so
for 3/2.
would you play 1 black-green, 3/2, drain your opponent for 1?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I would. I'm not saying that this isn't going to make me pick loads more elves.
No.
I'm not first picking this card.
No.
I'll pick this card if I first pick an unholy thing or whatever, one of the removal spells in black, and then I get a solid green card pick 2, and then I get a solid black card pick 3, and this comes up pick 4. I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
Now I'm in.
And then you might prioritize an elf. There's some... I don't think that's the best payoff for playing elves. The best payoff for playing elves, in my opinion, is Dwynen something. Dwynen's...
Elite?
The one that makes a token? Yeah. That, in my opinion, is the best reason to play lots of elves.
Because she instead of being a 2-mana 2/2, she's now a 2-mana 2/2 with a 1/1.
Yeah.
That also powers up your other elf stuff.
Exactly. Absolutely fantastic. So... I think there is an elf deck. I think it's a sub-theme as opposed to...
Now, if I open Dwynen,
I
think I'll take Dwynen. As a 4-mana 3/4...
I mean, we've seen 4-mana 3/4 reach before in Can's Block, and it's insane.
It's just solid, yeah. This one gives other ones +1/+1, so I mean, this then makes 5 power.
Yep.
And you get every time she attacks, you get 1 life for an elf. That's just a solid card.
Yep.
I
would first pick that card.
I think I would take one of the black removal spells over her.
Probably.
But I think that's pretty close, and maybe I'll eat my...
She does die to Reef Soul.
Reef Soul, she does die too.
But Reef Soul is incidentally very good in that deck because it's like kill your early thing that's going to stop these elves bashing you.
Again, or I mean, you get access to the same renowned creatures that the white green one does.
The green renowned creatures. You also just do the classic black green thing, which is like, this is a big thing. These are some kill spells.
Yeah,
have a good time. You know. Mm-hmm. You also get combat tricks, and there is a Wild Instincts in the format, which is like the fight spell of this format, which is very, very powerful.
It does cost 4 though. It's sorcery speed, so there's real potential for blowout if you're not careful with it.
Mm-hmm. But if you are careful with it, it's quite often kill a guy and deal 2 extra damage as well. Mm-hmm. So what else are we talking about? That's the Elves deck. I mean, do you think you'll be drafting Elves Tribal often?
I'd like to try, but I don't think the payoff's there.
No, probably not. Another deck that I don't think the payoff's there for: Black White Enchantments.
Black White Enchantments. What's a big
Actually,
payoff?
no, I tell a lie. Black White Enchantment.
The payoff's there.
Yeah,
Blightcaster's there.
Blightcaster's there, and Blessed Spirits are there.
Oromancer's there. A little bit of recursion.
Blessed Spirits is absolutely insane. I don't think there's anything wrong with just playing Blessed Spirits, by the way.
No, it's a win drink.
It's a win drink. But the problem is the enchantments in the format.
What do you want?
Aren't that strong. Suppression Bonds is probably the best thing to be casting in these kind of decks. Mm-hmm. And that's a high pick anyway.
Yeah.
So Weight of the Underworld is also there.
That was not too good for us in Theros block, but I think it's going to be better here.
Because you're not going massive on one creature.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't think their kind of uncommon payoff card is Something Night. I need to have these available to me more quickly because this is now getting awkward.
Like
talk about something else. Dennis?
Nope.
Talk about something else.
Stewing in this. Okay. This is the plan now.
Well, I'm talking about Blood Curse Knight.
Hyphen or one word?
Hyphen.
There she is.
Mm-hmm. Who gets +1/+1 in lifelink if you control an enchantment.
That's not even... I mean, that's a 3 mana 4/3 lifelink. Hey, that's great. But...
It's not huge.
That's actually pretty... That's a pretty good. But like we said, the problem isn't the payoffs. The problem is the lack of really good enchantments.
So I think you're either going to be playing subpar enchantments to make your payoffs work, or you're going to be playing some just...
But then again, I'll play a 3 mana 3/2.
I'll play a 3 mana 2/2 flyer.
Yeah, I
probably won't play a 4 mana 2/3.
Yeah.
We've seen that card before. It was quite strong in its block.
Mm-hmm.
I think Blightcaster is a reason to play subpar enchantments.
Right. If you have 2 of these, maybe.
Yeah, if you have 2 Blightcasters, Weight of the Underworld suddenly goes up a lot because they can kill 4 toughness things now.
Or 2 toughness things.
Exactly. So I think Blightcaster. If you pick early Blightcasters, that's a reason to kind of move in on enchantments. But bear in mind, you don't want to flood your deck with do-nothing enchantments. There is also...
Because when you don't draw your Blightcasters, they're not doing anything for you.
There's also a rare Sigil of the Empty Throne, which is a fantastic reason to play a lot of enchantments.
Yeah, now you're cooking. If you first pick this, which I don't know if you should, but if you do...
I probably will. If I open that, I probably will first pick Sigil. Because it's so cool, you know?
You only really need 1 enchantment for it to be worth it. Blightcaster, you need... Blightcaster's worth after 1 as well, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, so that is... I mean, white in general seems very strong. Mm-hmm. A lot of just very efficient guys. There's that Sarah Angel.
Oh, what's she called?
Champion of something? No.
Nope. Just gonna look at actual Sarah Angel for now.
Yeah, no, there is a Sarah Angel with upside, which is just nuts, by the way. And it's a patron of the Valiant. Thank you.
She doesn't have vigilance though.
No. But she synergizes with renown guys, this kind of stuff. So white just seems like a very strong color in terms of the efficiency of its creatures and also the efficiency of its removal. Mm-hmm. I think you'll be looking to play white a lot of the time because it goes into some of the best decks that we've seen so far.
Yeah, if you first pick either of the removal spells, either the 4 mana enchantment one or the 2 mana destroy tap guy
I'd
one.
totally first pick a patron of the Valiant.
Yeah, I mean, there are real reasons to put you into white, and then there's enough meat there's enough depth in the color.
It's a deep color, yeah.
For it
Which
to be your base.
Isn't true of colors like blue or red in this format.
Right. So we move on to say red-black.
Red black is a cool deck. So red black plays like a kind of an aggro-y deck, but Active Treason is also in the format along with cards like Nantuko Husk.
Nantuko Husk. Now some of you may remember the Active Treason Bloodbaron combo from M14. Mm-hmm. This is the same deal.
But you also get more...
Of both.
You also get Blazing Hellhound
as an additional sack outlet.
And Enthralling Victor as an additional Active Treason.
This card should be a legend. I made this joke too earlier, but I'm making it again. This card should be legendary because his name is Victor.
Why Victor the Enthralling?
He's pretty enthralling. He's a good looking dude. He's got like a 6.5 pack. You know?
And my axe.
He's got the whole V thing. These guys are pretty enthralled. You can see my mouse here. Look, these guys are pretty enthralled.
Yeah.
They're enthralled by this chap. This is to be legendary. If you stare at the sun for too long, you lose your ability to... I can write better flavor text than this.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you've got this kind of like steal your opponent's guys and then sacrifice them type of theme going on.
If you've ever had that happen to you, is surprisingly backbreaking.
It's so horrible.
It's so demoralizing. It's like, hey, Oisin, I'm going to steal your wallet and then I'm going to slap you in the face with it and I'm going to eat the notes out of it.
Like,
I don't really get much for eating them. Like, yeah, make my guy big or whatever, but I eat them because I don't want you to have them when I throw the wallet back across the table.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
Perfect analogy.
I like it. And Dennis has done that to me. It's why we don't go to dinner together anymore.
That's true. I love it. I don't have to pay for dinner.
But, yeah, so that's the red-black deck. I think if the sack theme works out, like enthralling Victor himself, he's an uncommon, but active treason is a common, and our sack outlets are common and uncommon respectively. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the red-black sack deck.
Word of warning, I know this is a little bit of an aside. Nantuko Husk can sack itself, which doesn't really matter, unless they try to remove it with a spell that will grant them upside. You can sacrifice to get to fizzle it. But on Magic Online, if you click on Nantuko Husk to activate the ability,
it will then say sacrifice a creature.
And if you click on Nantuko Husk again by accident or your internet lagged, your Nantuko Husk will eat itself, which is against flavor and also against your soul. That's not what you want to be doing. So just be extra vigilant. Yeah.
Doesn't have vigilance. So we can also talk about blue-red, which is another kind of themed deck.
Should be artifactsy, don't know if it is.
Blue-red, historically in Limited, is kind of a tempo deck. You get the stuff out of the way, you attack them with your little guys and flyers, and then you finish them off with burn.
Right.
The blue-red payoff in this format does like artifacts. It's called blue-red uncommon card.
Tell me a name, it's not
Reclusive Artifactor. Reclusive Artificer. Artifactor. That's not a word.
There he is. There she is. I don't like this card.
It's not even a good payoff. It doesn't get you card advantage. It's a 4-mana 2/3 haste that sometimes...
It can get you artifact. It can.
Oh, it can kill creatures. Yeah, I guess it's fine. I don't think it's worth it.
No,
I don't think the artifact theme is worth going in on. However, the one you had up there earlier, the Doctor Engineer, is that what it's called?
Yeah. She's fine. She's solid.
Do you remember... No, that's not the card I'm thinking of. What's the 2/1 that makes a 1/1?
There is that one, but also this. This is the 2 in a red for a 1/3 that makes a 1/1 that has haste.
Which is fine.
That's better than... almost probably close to better than the...
Girapur Gearcrafter.
You're going to have to spell all of those.
Ghirap Gearcrafter. Girapur Gearcrafter.
This is Sandstep Outcast.
Without the option to put a plus and counter.
But with the additional synergy of
being an artifact.
Being an artifact.
So,
for things like your Girapur Aethergrid.
And also, if you're playing red-white aggro, it's multiple creatures for... White, I didn't mention this earlier, but I probably should have. White has a lot of cards that seem to pay you off for having tokens.
Like Kythian's Tactics.
Kythian's Tactics. There's another interesting one called... It's an enchantment.
But your concern was that you didn't really find the token makers. There wasn't the Raise the Alarm.
There's Murder Investigation and Dragon Fodder, and that's it.
Well, there's technically speaking, there's Knightly Valor, but it doesn't make 2 creatures for 1 card.
Valor,
this, incidentally, is an enchantment that I'm happy to run.
Yeah, absolutely. Valor in Akros is the other card I was thinking of.
Valor in. Oh, God. Valor in Akros. Okay. That's pretty solid.
So, there's a lot of cards that want you to play, token-y type things, and then don't. There's no token-y type things. So, kind of avoid that. It seems like a trap.
Really would have liked to Raise the Alarm, I think, is the card we would have wanted.
Raise the Alarm would have been absolutely fantastic in this format. But yeah, red-white aggro is a deck.
It seems like red-white aggro and green-white aggro seem to just be kind of decks full of aggressive-ish cards.
Yep, and
green-red has a swamp.
So your blue-red deck is looking to tap their guys out of the way, hit you with your little blue guys, red guys, flyers. The Hessian Thief.
Oh, Gessian Thief.
No, J. It's got a J.
Oh, Hessian Thief.
Hessian Thief.
Scroll Thief
with prowess.
That's a card.
So you're tapping their guys out of the way, you're burning their guys out of the way with your stupid lightning javelins, and you're drawing cards and you're killing them that way, and you're finishing them off with burn, maybe. Your red-white deck, you're just going, rah, to kill you.
Your green-red, you're going, ramp, kill you.
Yeah. Oh, green-red. Green-red is an interesting one, because green-red has a slight landfall-ish theme. Green-red is the Zendikar card. So, Zendikar color pair, I should say. There are kind of... Well,
we have Nissa's Pilgrimage, that's Kodama's Reach.
Yeah, but with sometimes you get more lands that you can use for things like your... what's the green one called?
The enchantment.
Nature Bond something. Oh god, what's it called? It's got one of these stupid green names for things, you know. That's just like Zendikar's Royal.
Yeah, real one of those stereotypical green.
I was thinking of a different card, but yeah, when it landfalls to make you a 2/2.
I'm not sure if I'm happy with this card.
I want to try it out.
I want to try it out, but you're spending turn 5 to do nothing.
Yeah.
Ideally, the following turn you get a 2/2. Really, ideally, the following turn you get another 2/2, and then the kind of card is kind of paid for itself.
Yeah.
But then you're casting your 7th land on turn 7, and you didn't do anything on your 5th turn, so you're pretty behind, I think, if that's the case.
There's also a Zendikar Incarnate as a decent payoff for ramping a little bit.
Yep.
Which is the uncommon one. It's just a beater.
This is a great card.
It's almost always a 4-mana 4/4, unless you're playing like the elf that ramps you. Which, by the way, they are not making
Elvish Mystics anymore.
In theory, for the next little while. There is do you remember the what was it called? Llanowar Elk. Elkish Mystic.
Golden Hind.
There is an Elvish reprint of that called Leaf Gilder.
There is. That's a card I loved Golden Hind. I'm sure I'll love Leaf Gilder too.
Absolutely. Very, very high pick. But falling short of that, you're going to be playing a 4-mana 4/4 when you play Zendikar Incarnate, and it's only going to get bigger.
Which is great.
And that is red green, and then that is all 10 color pairs, I believe.
So we've talked a little bit about the different kind of removal from the set.
Removal, yeah, I did compile a list of all of what I considered removal spells in the set.
Do you want to run down the list, or is that too cumbersome?
Well, I'll just kind of point to white and black, as usual, have the best removal spells. Red has some fine ones. Fiery Conclusion will kill most things. Fiery Impulse is also good. Fiery Conclusion is basically Bone Splinters at instant speed, like. And then Lightning Javelin, obviously. Chandra's Fury's in there as well. I don't like it.
I think it's a fun card. I don't love it, though. You're right. It's too expensive for too little in effect.
Yeah. But then, green has its Fight spell. Blue has its Claustrophobia. And black has its obviously fantastic removal spells. The removal is quite efficient in this format. So, early removal, things like Reeve Soul and Claustrophobia are going to be huge against renown guys.
And, I mean, things like Unholy Hunger and the other unconditional one.
Cruel Revival, which is not technically unconditional.
But, I mean, they're going to hinder your Knightly Valors and that kind of thing.
So, watch out for... I mean, black has 2 common instant speed 5-mana kill anythings.
Close to anything, yeah.
Yeah. So, that they're going to be going around a fair bit. Anything else you wanted to talk about?
I'm excited.
I think it's going to be... So, overall impression, it's going to be a fast format that's going to be very heavily based on who gets board control early.
I think that's fair.
I think, dirtily kind of draw lots of cards and
you think black-blue is a little bit of a disadvantage?
No, I don't think that, because I think you can still play cards like Reeve Soul and your early blockers. There's the 2-mana 2/3 that comes in tapped. I forget what he's called.
There's a 2-mana 1/3 as well.
Yeah, so you can still play your early blockers, but you do need to have something impact the board early, because otherwise you are just going to get run down by the renown decks, which are going to be quite popular. I would say. Outside of that, what else is there to talk about?
Are you excited? Are you happy to see Magic Origins? We're not going to see it for another 3 weeks, but
no, I think Oranges is going to be fun, man. I'm really looking forward to playing some Oranges.
Would you say that now with the I was going to make an Orange the new black joke, I couldn't actually think of the second half of the joke.
No,
I started the joke,
couldn't get there,
but I couldn't form a punchline out of it.
Yeah, you got the first segment of the Oranges pun down.
I had trouble wringing the juice out of the joke.
Yeah, you couldn't peel it off. So we're gonna wrap up here on that note. If you enjoyed this, let us know. If you didn't,
maybe don't.
Maybe don't
let us know.
Maybe keep it to yourself. I don't care. We've done it now.
Orange, you glad we didn't do 3 of them?
Oh God,
we didn't do one for every single set.
Yeah, but that is the end of the show.
So thanks for watching. I've been Dennis.
I've been Oisin.
Please subscribe and like and
whatever
follow
you
us
feel
on Twitter
like
and support us on Patreon or whatever.
Blah blah blah.
Shill.
Blah blah.
And we'll see you next time. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. Probably maybe not actually.
Yeah, we might be doing some. Oh God! Look, there's some stuff coming up. We're doing some things that might not be drafts. Deal with it. Okay?
A little harsh, but that's fine. I like it. Tough love. See you next time, guys.